Hey guys, I've got an iPad case which I'd like to show you all today. It's from Torras. It's the Torras OStand case for iPad. It's available for a few different variations of iPad, but the one which I have was designed for the iPad Pro 11-inch M4 2024. Now, for those of you who don't know, Torras make smartphone cases for Samsung, for Apple iPhones, etc. And last year I had about 8 or 9 different cases sent out to me for the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. But the one which I ended up using, and the one that I've had attached to my phone for the last 10 months, is a Torras case. So Torras got in touch with me and I thought, yes, this is something I want to check out. And one of the reasons I wanted to check it out is, yes, Torras, I think their cases are pretty good, but also I was really keen because this has a Surface Pro-like stand, and that makes it stand out, excuse the pun, from the competition. There's not a lot of cases that do have this style of stand. Most cases in the market have the kind of folio style which fold out like that. Now, before we go on, I just want to quickly show you the website, get the boring stuff out of the way. This is the official website. You can see the price for those of us in the UK, £44.71. That price does change, and the reason being that it's just a conversion that they've got here, a currency converter. I think it's based on the United States price of $58. So $58 there. Now, it's being sold right now on Amazon.com for $59 minus 5, so $54. It is coming to Amazon UK, but at the time of recording, it's not there yet, but I suspect it will be there very soon. Also, from a weight perspective, I can tell you that I weighed the case on its own at 223 grams, which is 7.8 ounces. When I added my iPad Pro, it was 706 grams or 1 pound, 8.9 ounces. And then when I added the Apple Pencil Pro, it went up to 725 grams, which is 1 pound, 9.5 ounces. Now, those figures won't mean a lot to some of you, but for me, what it meant was that it's a lighter solution to what I was using before. And that's one of the things I noticed right away, was that in comparison to the Spigen case, which I was using before, which has a cover, this doesn't have a cover, which is a pro or a con, depending on your perspective. But one of the first things I noticed right away was that this was lighter. It was a lot lighter to use than what I was using before, which makes sense because this case has all this additional material at the top. But it is a lighter solution, and I do like that about the case. It is a positive, in my opinion, that this is lighter to use. Now, if I just take a look around, you can see that from a cutout perspective, from a protection perspective as well, you can see that it's got everything that you need. There's not a massive lip there. I do have a screen protector on, so the lip would be a little bit thicker if you don't have a screen protector, but I think my opinion is that if you're using this and there's no front cover, then a screen protector is a good option. So you've got all your normal cutouts there. You can see the charging port, which you can demonstrate here. No issues with any cables. I've used a ton of different cables, absolutely no issues getting connected there. That's all good. So you've got your speakers, you've got your charging port there, speakers there as well, microphone. There's a cutout for the power button, and then there's a large cutout here for the Pencil Pro, and that helps you get into the Pencil Pro. Now, with the volume rocker there, it's the same as what's happening in my other case, in that the actual buttons are here, but there's a little mechanism here, so you push down here, it's very clicky, and it goes in like that. Works really well. Now, another positive, in addition to being lighter, one of the first things I noticed in comparison to my other case was that the Pencil Pro integration was a lot better. In this other case, the Pencil Pro was really stuck in there. There's not a lot of room. You really had to kind of squash it in. Now, that's not the case here. There's quite a lot of wiggle room, quite literally. Like if you look at like this, I can wiggle it back and forth. There's quite a lot of room in there. Now, despite that, it's not going anywhere. There's no risk of that pencil going anywhere, but it is so much easier to put the pencil in and out. So much easier. It's night and day how much easier, how much better it is to put the Pencil Pro in. So that's a positive. And I've not tested this, but I suspect that because there's a little bit more space in there, this will be more compatible with other types of pencils, maybe perhaps from third-party companies in the future. So I think the Pencil Pro and the pencil integration here is fantastic. It's just so much easier to use. It's really good. I think they've done an amazing job. So yeah, that's a positive. The lightweight setup is positive as well. Let's talk about the stand. So the stand, it's a Surface Pro like stand, and normally you have the folio style stand, and your two options with this type of stand is it's that angle or it's lying down and it's that angle. So you're kind of restricted with what you can do with those folio style cases. It works okay, it does work okay, but this type of case is so much more flexible. If you're doing video calls, if you're just trying to position your iPad in a particular way, if you're drawing it, you have a full range of motion here. Now, what's interesting is that you've actually got two different types of stands. Now, one negative is that, yes, this is all strong. It's kind of like a metal. It's really, really strong. It's a really, really strong material, and there's no risk of this going anywhere. It's not going to break off. It's really welded to the case, but it can be a little bit fidgety to get your finger in there. Sometimes your finger just doesn't catch it, so you have to really dig in. But what happens here is this case here, this stand part of it goes to there. Now you might be wondering, oh, that's not good. You don't have a full range of motion, but there is another part at the top, like that. So you've got the full range of motion there between those two stands. Now, if I switch to my other camera, it's kind of like a table camera here, you will see that from this, even like it's obviously, you don't want it to be too narrow, but from here, it goes all the way down to there, and there's just lots of positions. This is perfect. You've got pretty much every position you want, every position you would need. It's absolutely solid. It's not like the folio style cases. I think with the folio style cases, there's a tendency for those types of cases to be a little bit wobbly. That's not the case here. If you've got this on a desk, on a table, it's solid. Now, the other one is obviously lower, like that. Like that. It's a lot lower. Now, you can obviously use these cases in any way you want, but what I found is that the bottom stand is fantastic for tables, for desks. This top part here, this is what I'm using a lot when I'm lying in bed, when I'm sitting on the couch. It just helps me raise up the iPad a little bit more. It gives me an angle, and it's really good. So I found the stand, which is a big selling point about this, I found the stand to be fantastic. Only negative really is the fact that it can be hard to get that out sometimes if you don't catch it right. Now, there is one negative, I think, and it is something I want to point out. If I take this out the case, I'm taking screenshots here. Okay, so I've got the iPad out, and this is the case. It's quite rigid. You know, it's not a lot of flex on that. It's a nice kind of plastic material, and yeah, it seems well made. Now, one thing I will notice that I will note about this is that it's maybe not obvious here looking at the camera right away, but one thing I did notice is that this material scratches very easily. And at first, when I saw the first scratch, I thought, oh, was that there already when I bought it? It wasn't. I have looked after my iPad and this case very well. This iPad in the case has not left the house since it was delivered 3 or 4 weeks ago. But despite that, you can see there's a big scratch there, and there's multiple scratches on the back of this kind of transparent plastic. And it just seems to be that this material scratches incredibly easily. I haven't even put this on a bag. It's only sat on a table or this like a desk or something. It's never been on anything that could scratch it, but the material does seem to scratch very easily. It's not a deal breaker, but it is something that you have to be aware of, that this material here seems to scratch. Perhaps they should have maybe not went for a transparent material. Maybe they should have went for a black material or something. One positive is very easy to put in. You just kind of click it down the bottom, lift that top part up, lift that top part up, and we are good to go. That's it. That's all there is to it. Then you can plop that back in. So, can I recommend this? Yes, I think I can recommend this. One thing to note is, I think for the type of material that's used here, you know, it doesn't have a premium feel to it in comparison to, you know, some of the maybe the leather cases out there. But despite that, it's being priced at $55 or so, that around that price mark. And there's a lot of other cases out there that are a lot cheaper. But there's not a lot of Surface Pro style cases out there. I've barely found any online, and the ones that I did find were around this price mark. They tended to be more expensive. So these Surface Pro style cases, which I do like, I do prefer this style just because it's a little bit more flexible. There's not a lot of options out there, and the ones that are there tend to be more expensive because, you know, there's not a lot of options for it. So if you are looking for that style of case, this seems to be the price that you have to pay in the market just now. So take that as you will. It's up to you how much you pay, etc. But it is worth noting there's a lot of cheaper alternatives out there. I mean, this spiking case is like half the price, but you do have that Surface style case. One thing, again, it's a pro or a con, is that you don't have a front cover here. Now, to me, I would generally say it's a con, and the reason being, I don't like the feeling of holding the screen when I'm walking around the house and carrying it. I prefer to have a nice cover. It just feels nicer in the hand. But the benefit of not having that cover is that this is a lighter solution. It is lighter. There's no way getting around the fact that it's lighter to carry around. That's a bonus. And I think the Pencil Pro integration is great here as well. And the stand is fantastic as well. So it's not the perfect case, but no perfect case exists. There's always some sacrifice out there, whether it be price or functionality. For me, the biggest weakness here is the fact that it doesn't have a cover, but it's a minor issue in my opinion. Overall, I've been very, very impressed with the case. I think the Pencil Pro, the integration is great. I think the stand is great. So it is a case that I can recommend, but just like everything, go in to any purchase with your eyes open, look at alternative reviews and look at what other options are out there. But this is a case that I can recommend. I've been very impressed with it and I've been really enjoying using it. And as much as I do love this case, I'm not sure if I can go back to a folio style case because I really love this stand. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, take care.